Everybody signed attendance roster now so far. Okay, here you go. And I'm going to now give the floor to Greg Rowland. So
right.
Airman Rowland.
Oh, thanks. Name is Greg Rowland. I just got back from tech school about 3 weeks ago. I was gone for a total
Generally
of 7
speaking,
months.
because of the student flight program, I can have an individual ready, boots on the ground, ready to work, back from school, in processed 2 days after they return. And this wasn't something we were doing in the past. We were taking a whole 30 days of seasoning training to in-process somebody. And now we've cut that down by having a student flight leader literally there with them.
You both have to get on full body armor, your flak vest, your helmet.
One of my key goals as a human resource advisor is really focusing on building programs that support inclusion and engagement. And for me, this is kind of fundamental to building an environment and a culture that's going to build stronger teams, improve recruiting and retention, and support mission accomplishment. Inclusion to me, it's about kind of valuing our differences as strengths. The second part is engagement, and that's really making sure that members know where they fit in the unit, what options are available to them, how far they can go. And a big part there is making sure that they have mentors and role models, not only helping them with the career, but people that they can see, that they can relate to, that shows them that there's the potential for success.
Let me just assure you that when you go to basic training, the first thing they're going to... I think of the sponsorship program as a three-legged stool, for instance. One of the legs being the recruiter being the first to create a relationship with that individual, to build on that relationship. The next leg of that stool would be the student flight leaders that help to broaden the base of that foundation and build for the success of these young individuals in the wing. From there, it goes on to the unit, their supervisors, and the sponsors that are literally assigned to them that help them to continue throughout their career.
To really support those goals in force management, a key tool I use is demographics. A lot of people tend to think of demographics in the historical sense, which has been race and gender. But I've really focused on demographics on a wider scope, things like member category, education, PME status, looking at things like the census results and kind of comparing where we're at, because ultimately we want to represent the community.
The Human Resource Advisor here at the 176 Wing provides the demographic data that is important to me as a command chief and other senior leaders. That data gives us the visibility concerning the health of the 176 Wing. It shows their educational level, again, specifically within student flight or within the wing. It shows items such as PME levels and where we're at and where we should go and where we have come from. Those are things that are so important to a command chief as we get out as command chiefs and talk to the enlisted force about what they need to do to be successful within their careers.
In fact, the numbers that the HRA provides are very informative. They're not shocking. I see the numbers that come out of the U.S. Census, and I say, yeah, that looks about right. That's about what I am used to seeing as I'm out and about in the community. And then I compare them to what we have in the wing, and it's not as though I am disappointed, but every time I look at the numbers, I know that we can do better. In many of our communities where we aren't really reflecting how we look demographically, I know that those are areas that if we made a little better effort to recruit and then especially to retain those folks, our recruiting efforts are going to be far easier and far more successful.
We started coming up with all these concepts and implementing them, and thankfully, General Foster and everyone in this wing has embraced this whole idea, or it would have never happened.
So when I talk about inclusion and engagement, the student flight is one of those programs that we've implemented in order to really help our members from the very beginning to understand where they fit in their units, understand how they can be successful in Air National Guard. And then by combining that with trending and demographics, we're able to really see those members as they choose to stay in the Air National Guard, and as they progress in their careers, kind of that reinforcement on key things like education and training.
As a command chief, I recognize that our enlisted force must stay engaged with the mission. They must stay focused in recruiting and retention, and we must give them the tools to make the 176th Wing a successful enterprise.
The one thing that I always tell my commanders, the numbers are important, but the numbers aren't why we serve. We generated a particular demographic mix because that's what is working best for us to succeed at the mission. Again, it doesn't really matter whether you're a Pacific Islander or white or a male or female. What matters is what you bring to the fight. How do you think and what do you add to the discussion? That is the thing that is most important in diversity. But if we don't pay attention to the numbers, we will blindly go someplace that isn't helpful for us.